Yeah, I have allergies and they're acting up today, so that might be what's up with you.
Oh, probably, because we have pollen galore. It looks like it snows on our car.
Yeah.
Okay. So to get started, the first thing you have to do is just come over to the text tool on the left-hand side where the A is,
Okay.
and grab your text. And Roxana, if you get, if you need me to pause, let me know.
Okay.
So what should we write this time?
How about Happy Easter?
Okay, that's good. Happy, whoops, and then hit enter, Easter. Okay, I've got to scroll out a little bit because I'm too far in. There we go. So the first thing after you do your text, you might want to manipulate your text so that it's close together but not touching. And mine's touching right now, you'll notice. So I'm going to make sure I have this arrow key up here in the upper left-hand corner selected. I'm going to click on my text. And I'm going to come down here to the text area on the right-hand side. It's the text style panel. Click on that. And then this allows us to manipulate the text just like we can in Cricut Design Space. We can change the character spacing. See, I can make them close, too close, or I can make them like this, and it's a slider. It just goes back and forth. And I'm happy with that right there, but I'd like those two lines to be closer together. So again, I'm going to click on it and make sure there's a box all the way around it. And then I can come over here to the line spacing and adjust that. And that looks pretty good right there. Are you caught up?
Yeah, well, we don't want them touching, right?
Correct.
Because
so I'm going to fix mine so they're not. So what I'm going to have to do now is, because these are grouped together, just like in Cricut Design Space, I can ungroup them. So I'm going to right click on it and find the word ungroup.
Right.
And ungroup it. And now you'll notice that these are all separate letters because a little box is drawn around each one of these. And I want to just group the word Easter back together so I don't mess up the bottom alignment. So I'm going to right click again and say group. And I'm going to drag that over a little bit so the T and the P aren't touching and the Y and the R aren't touching. So that looks pretty good. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight everything again and just say group. Right click and group. All right, now everything is grouped together, and just for the fun of it, I'm going to change the color of this. So to change the color, I just come up here to the left-hand side, and I'm going to change it to a pretty purple color. So that's our first layer. Now, we want to add an offset to that. So this is still selected. So I'm going to come over here to the right to where there's a star, and it kind of looks like it has an offset around it. And if you hover over it, it says Offset Panel. So click on that. And there are two types of offsets that you can do. Today, what we're using is the one on the left that just says Offset. So click on that. And look at here. Do you see all those little bubbly things around it? We can just leave this setting as it is for now, since we're just learning, and just say apply. And look what that did. That put a bubble all the way around the words Happy Easter. There is a funny box in here that we'll get rid of in just a minute. Before I click on anything else and highlight or select anything else, I'm going to come up here to where I can change its color. And I'll change this to pink. Okay, so like I said, there's this little spot in here that didn't get colored. So this offset is still selected. So while it is still selected, I come up to Object and Release Compound Path. notice that little thing got colored in, but if I click off, it's still there. That means it's going to cut. So I'm going to get rid of it just in case. So I highlight it and I hit delete on my keyboard. That's that. But we want to make one more offset. So we're going to highlight everything again. And we're going to come to offset. And this time I am going to change my offset. You can change it to whatever number you like, but I like to do 0.08. And you can either hit enter on your keyboard or apply. And now with that offset selected, we're going to change its color. So we're going to come up here and change its color. Maybe I'll make it a darker purple. Yeah, that's really kind of ugly. But oh well, that's okay. So this is just for a sample. So we've done all of this. We're ready to bring this into Cricut Design Space. So all we need to do now is to highlight all of this, and I group it. And then to go to Cricut Design Space, what we can do is come up here to File, Save As, and you're going to save it to your hard drive. And this is different than Cricut Design Space. Everything that we make here, we can save on our own computers, and it's ours forever and ever and ever. It's different than that, than the way it is on Cricut Design Space and with Cricut Access. So I'm going to save it to my own hard drive. And I guess I'll save it as Happy Easter. Okay, now the thing that you need to remember to do is to change this. You cannot use Silhouette Studio with our Cricut machines. We have to change that. And we have to change it to an SVG file. And once you have it changed, file name, whatever you've changed it to, and save as type SVG, just say OK. And now I'm going to change the sharing of my screen again. So now that I'm in Cricut Design Space, I'll go to Upload, Upload an Image, Browse. And I'm going to look for that image that says Happy Easter. Here's mine. Click on it and say Open. Now, one of the things that we discovered today, oops, I had some other stuff on my screen. That's why that other junk is still there, but here's my Happy Easter. One of the things that we discovered, and let me go back for 1 second, is I have been telling people that they need to make sure when they find the file they're going to use, when you hover over it, that it says it's an SVG file. But I've discovered that that's not necessarily the case. Roxana and Tammy both have Windows machines just like I do in Windows 10, but when they hover over theirs, it says HTML, right, Tammy? So it was an HTML file?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And that worked perfectly. It was just make sure you get the one that you just named and say Open. So here it is, and it's an SVG. So we're just going to say Save. It's already named. You can put tags in here if you want to be able to find it in Cricut Design Space more easily. So once it's here, and yours will only have one image, you'll highlight it and say Insert Image. And this is my final one right here. It came in really tiny, but I can make it, whoops, I've got to make sure, I need to undo that, the way I moved that. Well, what I needed to do was make sure I highlighted everything before I dragged it. All right, now I bring everything up together. So everything, all 3 layers resize at the same time. And these are my 3 layers. And this one I don't need to do anything to because it's just one big piece. You can see it over here in the layers panel. And this one I don't need to do anything to because it's just one big piece over here. But the text, I will want to take the text and highlight all of it And now I can either come down here and weld it or attach it. If it were cursive writing where the letters are actually touching, I would definitely want to make sure I weld it because I don't want those individual letters cutting out. But since these are not touching, it doesn't matter. I can either weld it or attach. I'll just hit weld. And now if I go to make it, all right, the 3 layers were the Happy Easter that stayed exactly how I wanted it to be. We used the pink and the darker pink and the purple. But these are the 3 layers that we would need in order to make this really cool looking image, just like that. So that's it. Roxanne and Tammy, do you guys have any other questions?
No. I was happy because my computer was acting halfway decent today.
Sweet. Hey, if you guys get a chance, I hope you can put your pictures. I'll put this on
I've already
probably
done
YouTube, but if you could put your pictures up.
Working on the last one.
What did you say?
I said I've got a couple of them up. I'm working on putting on Happy Easter.
Oh, cool. Great. Okay, well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I guess we should go, and I'll meet y'all back here again. Did you enjoy this, playing around?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye.